So lately, we've been hearing a lot about transfer pricing. Mainly it's tax-related terminologies like arm's length pricing and benchmarking. And these terms are quite new and complex for the business communities in UAE. Mainly maybe because of the international tax provisions and OECD regulations.
Article number 34, 35 and 36 of the federal decree law issued by the UAE tax authorities specifically mandates all business entities operating in the country to determine the transactions or arrangement entered with related parties or with the connected persons. Also, the same provisions mandate the entities to ensure that such transactions or arrangements are entered with related parties at arm's length price model.
Could you brief about what is arm's length pricing?
This is the pricing model to be followed if such transaction or arrangements are entered with an unrelated party.
So, is it mandatory for all the business communities or is it like applicable to a certain class of business people?
Transfer pricing provisions and the related terminology, which includes arm's length pricing, is applicable to all the business communities in the UAE. But there are some, additional disclosure requirement for certain class of communities who are falling into the turnover criteria of AED 200 million in one financial year.
All right.
Such entities are supposed to, maintain certain additional documentation, which includes master file, local file, etc. So in brief, transfer pricing regulations or the arm's length pricing model is mandatory for all the business communities in UAE.
So, when it comes into the transfer pricing provisions in the UAE, who all are included as related parties and connected persons?
Two or more individuals are connected with the fourth degree of kinship through guardianship or adoption. When there is a shareholding, either directly or indirectly with the other entity, with 50% or more of the shareholdings. All the partners in an unincorporated partnership.
Okay.
When it comes to trust or foundation, trustee, beneficiary, settlers, etc., all are classified as related parties.
All right.
An individual and his permanent establishment will be defined as related parties. And when it comes to connected persons, all the officers, directors, and all the decision makers in an entity will be termed as a connected person.
So, sir, when it comes to the definition of related parties and connected persons, is it the same in corporate tax and IFRS?
Broadly, yes. But the corporate tax law specifically focuses on control and relationship. Whereas in IFRS, it's focusing on control and influence. These are the two parameters to determine the relationship exists or not.
So now we know what is arm's length pricing. But what is the term benchmarking and what is the process involved in it?
The benchmarking is the process of identifying the arm's length price of the transactions entered with related parties or the connected persons.
Okay.
Benchmarking requires a detailed analysis of the transactions or arrangement entered with the related parties or connected persons, which includes a detailed analysis of the functions performed, assets deployed, or the risk undertaken, etc.
Okay.
And then instead of doing it manually, there are benchmarking softwares available in the market through which we can conduct the benchmarking and then conclude about the arm's length price of the transactions entered with the related parties or connected persons, which is going to be an evidence before you file the corporate tax return with federal tax authorities.
So now the benchmarking process is very clear. But is it a mandatory requirement when it comes to every entity in UAE before they file their corporate tax returns with the federal tax authority?
I highly recommend to conduct benchmark studies for all the entities operating in UAE. We don't need to repeat the benchmarking study every year. And instead, after getting further clarity from FTA with respect to advanced pricing agreement model, then we can freeze and fix the frequency of benchmarking to be conducted. But ideally, the benchmarking should be conducted before we file the corporate tax return every year.